Hey, what's up YouTube? This is part 4 of the K20Z3 rebuild, and this is the K20Z3 I was telling you guys about that I had that I was going to take the head off of. So right now I'm basically going to just lock the rockers in with the zip ties, start taking the caps off since they're already loose and everything. And I mean, as you can see, this is a K20Z3. This comes out of the 06 to 11 SI. For people that don't know, the reason why this block is no good, there's like a water crack line around here somewhere, so it just started leaking slowly and slowly. Didn't overheat or anything, so the head should be good. The car was running from what I was told. I had bought this for somebody else to do a swap and stuff, but they didn't come through, so I guess I'm going to use the head for this, and then for the block, I'm going to use the rods, the pistons, and the crank and put them into an A3 crank block, So, and then I'm going to do like some type of little Frankenstein build from an A3 with Z3 internals and probably a Type S head or something, so stay tuned for that. So I'm going to go ahead and lock these rockers in, and then start taking this apart so we can go ahead and slap this onto the other block. Alright, so got my rocker assembly all tied up with the zip ties, so the pins inside of here don't come shooting out when I take these tower caps off. So basically what I'm trying to do now is take the tower caps off. What you want to do is kind of just pry up under here, each one, until they all come up on each side. Make sure both of them are kind of lifted up, and you want to come up and not at an angle, because that'll kind of like gouge it when you're reinstalling it. So just make sure you want to lift up on both sides so that it comes up evenly. Other than that, there's 2 tins. You have to take off 1 and 2 right here, and then just the caps are already off, so just pry those off, and then we can get to the head studs. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so now you can see we got the complete roller rocker assembly off. So now we got our head studs. Our head studs are right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here on each side. So that's basically 10 bolts. You're gonna need a breaker bar for sure, especially if you're by yourself. Maybe something that kind of hold it against it, or you're gonna have to use your foot to kind of unloosen these bolts, because they're tight. They're at least 65 pounds of torque. So it's a 14 millimeter or 9/16 12-sided bolt. So now it's time to knock that out real fast, and then we can expose the block and see how good the pistons are and how the deck was and how it actually ran. Alright, so as you can see, the head is off. Looks like it was running pretty good, but looking at this, it might have had a little head gasket leak, at least on the exhaust side. But I mean, I was gonna do a new head gasket anyway, so I gotta go buy a brand new head gasket and shit, everything else. I'm gonna clean it all up with some like starter fluid or whatever, carb choke cleaner. Have everything all decent, so when I slap it on the other one, everything will be clean. But yeah, as far as that, the pistons, you can see, I don't know if you can see the dome, but these are going to be going to an A3 block with the crank and the rods. So this block's basically no good. I'll just recycle it. Other than that, I'm going to get ready to take this head over, clean it up, and then slap it onto the other block. So let's get to that. Alright, so we are back with the K20Z3 head. Unfortunately, I will not be slapping this head onto the K20Z3 block. Somebody, actually a friend, needed the block pretty bad, and they need to get to work and everything. So I just ended up selling the block, because I mean, he's a real good friend. He's really cool. So what we're gonna do, like I was saying earlier in the video, is a K20A3 build, which is because these motors actually suck. There's really nothing good or positive about them except for the 50 degree, which actually is the IVTEC. Let me kind of explain what IVTEC actually is, because some of you might not know. But what basically IVTEC is the cam phasing. So you're basically allowing the cam right here. It has a 25 degrees forward, 25 degrees backwards, for to maximize the amount of efficiency of air and fuel going into the engine. So with that, I mean, this motor, this cam gear actually is the best cam gear you can get for fully adjustment. The TSXs, K24s have like a, I believe like 25, and I believe they have a 40 degree on one of them too as well. But this is the one you want to get the full power out of it, especially if you're going K24, K20. Another thing about this is the cam phasing. So that's how this is actually controlled through oil pressure. That's kind of basically part of the intelligent system. And then another part would be the cam sensors. So it actually reads off those cams as well. As far as the original B series VTEC, they didn't do that. Now as far as the top end, the reason why this is not the real true VTEC, as you can see, these are your lobes right here. This is the intake side. The intake side only has 2 lobes. So that's actually what makes this the economical. There's actually only one VTEC on here. There's not VTEC on the exhaust side. The exhaust side is literally just 1 lobe. Doesn't change over, doesn't do anything. So that's another reason why this is not the true VTEC like B series, but it is an iVTEC, and it does have VTEC, and it is intelligent. So as far as that, yeah, I know a lot of people see that their valve cover says iVTEC, and no, you don't have the true VTEC. And also this motor VTEC comes in around like 4,000 compared to the other engines, which come in around 6,000. Another thing about these engines is the cams wear out. It's called cam galling, and they actually literally start coming apart from factory like that. It's just a factory defect that happens. So if your A3 is ticking, it's most likely going to be your cams, which is, like I said, it's a factory defect. It happens to it all the time, but instead of spending that money, you might as well get a true VTEC head. So another reason, let me show you what the real VTEC is. So this is our true VTEC cam. As you can see, 3 lobes, and they're on both cams. So that's exhaust. This is intake. So you see how this is 3 lobes on each side, both cams. That is true VTEC. And as far as the bottom end now, the reason why these motors suck on the bottom end, because first of all, the cranks are not, they're not balanced cranks. So they're just regular cranks. Like, they're still forged, but they're not balanced. So when you have something balanced, you can rev higher. You have a lot more less friction and vibrations. With these, they're not. So they're literally meant to rev up to about 7,500, no more than that. With the Z3, since we have the crank here, the Z3 has a fully balanced rotating assembly. So from the crank rods to the pistons, everything is good, and the pistons are high compression. As you can see, a dome on this piston compared to the A3 pistons. Well, I'll show you later when I break it down, but they're actually inverted, so they have like less compression. They're not really good engines. So the most these motors push is like, I don't know, maybe like 175 to the wheels with like bolt-ons, but don't expect nothing special about these engines because that's just how they are. Now, since I am going to be throwing a Z3 head, one reason why I like the Z3 head, the Type S heads and the Z3s, the valves are actually bigger as well. So they're 36 millimeter valves compared to the TSX, which still has the true VTEC, but they're not 36 millimeter. At least on the 02 to 04, 05, and then 06, 08, they get the bigger cam and then the 36 millimeter valves, just like the Z3. So the 06, 08 TSX head is basically a Z3, I believe, with a better cam actually. They share the same water port and everything as well. So I'll be able to drop the RBC manifold on here as well. So instead of having 160 unbalanced non-VTEC or VTEC but not real true VTEC, we're going to be converting this whole K20A3 to a real project to where this thing could push a little bit over 200, because I'm going to be shaving the head and the block. Everything will be freshened out, new pistons, new piston rings, bearings, crank polished, and we'll take it to the track and see what this thing can do. I'm not sure which car I'm going to drop this into, but it's going to be a special project because not that many people even use the A3s. But if you have one laying around and you're bored and you got a crank or whatever, you should just try it. I mean, it's cheap. But yeah, so that's going to be the new project for now. So stay tuned. We'll be taking this motor apart as well, and getting it all ready and prepped up so we can get this project going as well and see what we can do with the K20A3. Maybe we can trick some people at the street races and just tell them it's just a little A3. But yeah, that'll be concluding of this video. Got some other stuff coming in for you guys, a couple updates on the Integra and MR2 and everything, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys later.